Quilters, welcome to AccuQuilt Live. I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert. Thanks so much for joining us on a Wednesday. The lovely Erica is in the house today. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Been so long since I've seen
know.
you. Yes, yes. Did your grandson start school yet?
He did. John started yesterday, 2nd grade.
Gosh, Oakley started today, 3rd grade.
Wow.
There was already drama.
Already.
Oh
yeah.
First day of school.
Always.
All right, where is everyone watching from? Bonnie is watching from Lathrop. We met Bonnie in Long Beach.
Really?
At the Long Beach Quilt Show, yeah.
Oh.
How fun is that? And Sherry is from Wagner, Oklahoma. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's showcase the new projects from our intro video. First up, this is from Janice. Oh, okay, Erica, what do you love about this?
Everything.
All the things.
It's log cabin, it's purple, and it has stars. Oh, and pinwheels. That is just like all of my things rolled into one quilt, Janice.
Janice, feel free to send it to Erica.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, next we have this incredible road trip travel quilt by Jenny H. So we talked about that. Jen Belknap from Smitten Chicken, she kind of started us all on our travel quilt.
Yes.
So this is the state of Utah. And up north in Utah, there's Logan. We had some people watching from Logan. In the middle is Salt Lake City. But do you see Arches right down there at the bottom?
Yes, your favorite place in the world.
My favorite place in the world. And Pam's pickup truck pulling campers all around Utah. Good job.
So cute.
Okay, our final project is truly remarkable. This is Walker W. Look at Walker. Walker, my maiden name, so good job. He is, look at this, Erica, he is the South Texas Junior Creative Stitchery Grand Champion.
Wow.
We should give a huge ta-da to Walker.
Absolutely.
What a great job. Good job.
Hey, and we've got one other really exciting thing from the montage at the beginning.
Yes.
So Michael let us know that his quilt that was in the opening credits was entered in a K-Facet contest and won honorable mention. Congratulations.
Oh, gosh.
That's
I do love me
exciting.
some K-Facet
Yeah.
fabric. Wow. All right. Well, great job, Walker. We're excited for you. That's terrific. All right. I feel like everything after that is kind of...
Yeah, I mean, we've
talked about all the fun stuff. All right,
Yeah.
today is all about strip dyes. Actually, we love strip dyes.
We do.
Strip dyes and borders, and we get this question a ton about show us how to make borders, how to use strips. So we're going to be referring to this amazing book called Go Outside the Box by Eleanor Burns. And if you don't have a copy, put one in your cart today. It is a great resource tool. And Erica and I, you and I were talking about this before the show. It just shows all these amazing blocks and patterns and borders, because sometimes I feel like we get into that.
We get into a border rut.
We do. We just cut strips and call it a border.
We do the same thing all the time. But this has such great options in it. It's got beautiful blocks in it, and and it's just inspiring to me to look through. Sometimes you just need to get your quilting mojo back, and this is a great way to do that.
Yeah, and it uses the cubes, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is my photo of the day. You will all laugh at this. A few years ago, I was in San Diego with the amazing Eleanor Burns, and we spent a week together doing some quilt-along videos together. And this is Eleanor's parking space. It is reserved for Eleanor Burns, the stripper, because she loves strip dyes. And we just think it's such a great tribute to today's show, because there are 18 different strip dyes. So the question is, how many strip dyes do you own, and what is your favorite size? So before I ask Erica, here in the Dream Studio, 2.5 is the obvious favorite.
Yes.
So tell us, besides 2.5, what do you love? 6 was another good size here in the studio. And Joe actually talked about the multi-strip dye, which we're going to show you today. Erica, do you have a favorite size?
Okay, taking the 2.5 out of the equation, it's going to be the 1.5. I think that's the one I use the most. And narrow strips are not easy to cut precisely.
No, and I think that that's why I like that one too. 1.5, 1 3/4 makes flange binding.
Oh, so we use it a lot for that.
We do.
Too. Yeah.
Okay. All right, quilters, this month's die to try is the Go Mill and Star die. as you may have heard, it is sold out. And it's sold out in only 8 days. So if you would like to see it come back and be part of our permanent collection, you can go vote on the AccuQuilt website at AccuQuilt.com. Just look under Mill and Star, right? And there's a little button you can vote to bring it back. It was great. All right, the first bundle we have for you today is the Go Butterfly Pieced 9-inch finished die with matte bundle. You'll receive the butterfly pieced die, which finishes to 9 inches, and a 6x24 cutting mat. This bundle is just what you need to get started cutting out, piecing lovely butterfly blocks. Eric and I relaunched this yesterday. It became part of our permanent collection. We also have the Go Block on Board Favorites 9-inch die bundle, which comes with the Go Butterfly Piece die, again, which finishes to 9 inches, Crossroads and Starry Path, 2 of our favorite 9-inch finished blocks. The 9-inch setting triangles. Don't you think everybody should have setting triangles?
Everyone needs setting triangles, absolutely.
And the
every
2 cutting
size.
mats, 6x24 and 10x20.
This is a great bundle. These are some of our favorite blocks.
Right, it is. And if you want to mix and match 9-inch blocks, this is the bundle for you. And we're going to give double reward points when you place your orders today. You can use these points towards future AccuQuilt purchases. Okay, today I'm going to give away one of our Go multi-strip dies that cuts a 1, 1.5, and 2-inch strip, and this amazing book by Eleanor Burns. Be sure and register for future events on the AccuQuilt event page for your chance to win. By registering, you receive emails, and that way you're never going to miss a tutorial. And the lovely Erica will announce the winner of our registered viewer at the end of our show. Erica, do you use that multi-strip die very often?
You know, I don't I get in and out of the habit. I think it's great for scraps.
Yes.
And it's great for like rail fence kind of thing.
We have some really fun free patterns at AccuQuilt.com that
and I've gone through phases of using it to cut up all my scraps and then sew them back together again, and then subcutting them into some fun shapes.
Yes.
But I tell you what, our viewers love their strip dies, Pam.
They do. Okay, tell us before we even get started.
I've seen as many as 13.
Okay, we only have 18, so that's a good number.
Oh, Lynn G has 13 of them. A lot of people have 6 or 7. 2.5 seems to be the runaway favorite.
Right.
Lots of folks like my 1.5 inch. 2.25, we've got those 2.25 inch binding people.
Yes.
So that's for sure. Lots of 2.5s, lots of the 4, the 4.5.
I feel like 5 should be everyone's favorite because you can make term squares.
Yes, now we did have one person, Sue Ellen from Western Colorado, said she's got the 2.5, of course.
Yes.
And the 1.5.
Okay.
So if she could buy just one more, what should she buy?
Oh, I would tell you a wider strip. So maybe
I would say a wider one. So I was thinking the 3.5 or the 4.5.
Oh, there you go. I use those quite often as well.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. Today is all about strip die magic and how to create borders using strips and your cube. Now, for most of today's demonstration, I'm going to be using the 2.5-inch strip die. It's part of the Ready, Set, Go, which comes with the 8-inch cube as well, okay? So, but remember, strip die magic works on all strip dies that are just single-size strips, okay? So we're going to show you how to cut strips and squares and diamonds for days, all right? So let's look here real quick at our 2.5-inch strip die. Hey, Erica, this is a question we get a lot. Can all of the strip dies fit through your Go fabric cutter?
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can. And how many do we have that fit in the Go Me?
We have 2 that'll fit in the Go Me. We have a 2.5-inch strip die that cuts 2 strips that'll fit in the Go Me.
Yes.
We also have that multi-strip, and that'll fit in the Go Me as well.
Yes. There you go. All right. So here is our 2.5-inch strip die, so let's talk about it. All right, so first of all, it has 3 sections of 2.5-inch strips. And I'll move it, there we go, thanks guys. 3 sections, so 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 is 7.5 inches. I'm gonna rough cut 8 inches width of fabric, which is what I have done here. I have so many strips over here, okay? Now, really important to recognize, quilters, the blades stop here, all right? So when you're laying your fabric down, you want to make sure that your fabric stops before the edge of these blades. Otherwise, you're going to have hula skirts. We had our team in last Friday for check days because a lot of our team works out of state, so everybody came in. And Eric and I did this great little demonstration in the Dream Studio, and lots of people cut hula skirts because they didn't lay their fabric down, okay?
They did.
Now, these lines here, the 30, 45, and 60, and 90 degrees, we're going to use in just a few minutes. There are no blades here, okay? These are just guidelines. So what I've done is I have cut 8 inches of width of fabric. And we were talking about this before the show. You know, not all width of fabric is the same. It can be anywhere from 40 inches to 45, wouldn't you say, Erica?
Right. That's a good ballpark. You know, it's kind of like women's pant sizes.
Yes, yes. They
vary.
They vary. All right, so what I did is I cut off the selvage edge because you're going to cut it off anyway. And what's really important to remember is that this fold is parallel to this black line. All right, now don't line it up with the edge of the die board because then it's going to stop cutting here and here and here and here, and that's how you get little hula skirts, okay? So we're going to line it up here. Erica, how many layers can you cut?
As always, up to 6.
And what's the trick about if you cut 6 layers?
If you're going to cut 6 on the 2.5 or the 2 1/4, because I know you all are out there, you can cut a queen size binding in one pass. Yes, one pass through the cutter.
Okay.
That's just downright magical.
All right, so I'm going to use our Go Big today because we can. I'll turn our iron on. All right, Erica, while it's cutting, tell us what's...
Well, we have 2 people I've seen so far that have all 18 of our strip dies. So that's Karen P. and Beth C.
Excellent.
And Karen says that her favorite is the 2 1/4. She's one of those 2 1/4 inch binders.
Yes.
Jenny G. says her favorite's the 5 1/2 because she doesn't have a 10-inch cube yet, and she uses it with, guess what die? The schoolhouse die.
Schoolhouse die. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. I'm going to give it some love. Slide, don't lift. Boy, is it staticky in the Dream Studio today. All right. Now, if you're Eleanor, you take these little strips and you throw them behind you, which is kind of fun. Now, look, here are the perfect strips. And every time I have done this at a retailer and demonstrated this for 6 years, this is what they want to see.
Yep.
They want to make sure that that center is straight, that there's no mountain in that middle, there's no dipsy doodle that Erica calls it, okay? Yep. And that's super important. So notice that it is. So now what I can do is I'm going to show you how to cut squares and diamonds, okay? Sorry guys, I keep moving that and you keep trying to adjust. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this strip and I'm going to line it up right here at 90 degrees. It's really important that the fold come past the blade. So where my fingernails are, that's where the blade is. It has to come back because what happens if it's before the blade, Erica?
Then it's not going to cut.
It's not going to cut, and it's not going to cut 2.5 inch squares.
Right.
Okay? All right? All right, so we're just going to fan fold. When we talk about fan folding, this is what we talk about back and forth. Now, bless you. Some of you are going to say, oh, Pam, I could cut those and just with my rotary cutter. Well, 1, that's never going to be straight. But 2, you could start here with the strip and then just take your little clear plastic ruler and line it up and go all the way down the die board. And in one pass, you can cut 216 squares.
You know, I was rough cutting to make strips the other night.
Yes.
And I realized that I'm really awful at rotary cutting.
Yes.
Because it's not, moving perfectly straight is not a natural movement for your arm.
Right.
And so by the time I have little short arms. So by the time I get over here a ways, I deviate.
Yeah, you're trying to push it.
I push
through.
and go to the side.
Yeah.
I realize that.
There you go. So see, this is why we use strip dies. All right, so now we have our choice. We can cut 30-degree diamonds, 45-degree diamonds, or 60-degree diamonds. Today we're just gonna cut some 45-degree diamonds. We're gonna do the exact same thing where we're gonna take our fold and come past this blade, and we're gonna fan fold back and forth. Now, Erica, we get this question a lot. In our cube, do we have diamonds in our cube?
Why, no, Pam, we don't.
We don't. What do we have?
We have parallelograms.
What's the difference?
Well, parallelograms, the sides are not all the same.
Right.
Diamonds, they are. So
all diamonds are parallelograms, not all parallelograms are diamonds.
True, it's true. And I know diamonds are a girl's best friend, but you're gonna make those with your strip die.
Yes. And speaking of strips, how many strip dies are people owning and what's their favorite?
Oh my goodness. I saw that Ada has 11.
Oh, good job.
Debbie S. says, she didn't give me exactly how many. I think it looks like she's got 3 or 4, but she says they're a game changer. And you know what, Debbie, you're absolutely right, they are.
Okay, I want you to know that even if I only ever have 3 strips to cut, I subcut it and put it on a die.
Oh, absolutely, because it cuts it better. Otherwise, I end up having to recut to straighten it out, and I waste fabric. I hate that.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna slide, don't lift. And look at this. Okay, so we'll start with our squares over here. Look at this, squares for days. Perfect little squares for days. And then diamonds, you can make some really fun things out of diamonds. You can make a star block out of diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
Look at how fun this is. Okay? So strip die magic, if it has a single size of width of strip, then it's gonna work the same. So look at this. Okay? I love it. You could make 60-degree diamonds. You can do all of the fun things. All right? Now, that's how you cut squares and diamonds. Now is a little more advanced strip die magic. And this is all about cutting 4 patches and 9 patches. Because in your quilting head, you think, oh, I'm gonna make a 4 patch. I'm gonna cut a whole bunch of squares out of white and a whole bunch of squares out of black, and I'm gonna sew them together. Erica, is that the most efficient way?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
No, it is not the most
I'm going to say no, because I was just seeing that Steve from Fayetteville has all the strip dies, all the cubes. He says he has all the regular dies, all the bob dies, and and I quote, mess of studio dies.
Way to go.
And his two favorites are 2.5.
2.5.
And 1.5.
He could hang with us.
He can totally hang with us. Come on
all
over.
the strip dies. Fayetteville, not that far.
Not that far.
Not that far. Okay. So don't take squares and sew them together if you're going to make 4 patches. Take strips. And okay, Erica, I'm getting my Halloween vibe on.
Are ya?
Look at these
A little
colors.
green, a little purple.
Yes.
You're starting to
cut
feel it.
perfect strips. I sewed them with a 1/4-inch seam. I am not going to press them open. Okay?
Like the best thing ever.
Yes.
Quilters, if you have never done this before, you have to do this.
I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to come here at 90 degrees. Now, I'm doing 2 layers at a time, so I can only come back and forth 3 times. And again, I cut off the salvage edge because we're going to cut it off anyway. And since I'm just cutting 4 patches, I'm going to use a smaller mat. You don't always have to use your big mat, okay? You can always use a smaller mat. Ooh, but I do need to make sure now that it's straight on there. Okay. I keep moving my drink there, Erica. All right, while I'm doing this, Erica, tell us how many people have 18. We should keep track.
Okay, I have to laugh at this one because Gail D said she had to check. She had to check. She only has 13, but that's probably an unlucky number, so she should probably buy at least 1 more.
I agree.
Absolutely, you should buy 5 more because then you would have all 18.
You have them all.
There you go.
Yes, there you go. All right, So look at this. Now I can press them to the dark side, which I'm going to consider as the purple. And when I go to sew these pieces together, they are going to nest, there we go, perfectly. If you're making 4 patches, this is how you do it. Don't press it open, because then it's not going to, then when you're done.
You can't cut as many.
You can't cut as many, and then it's not going to, then when you sew them together, you're just going to press to the dark side. Look at that, okay? Now, then the next question is, if I can cut 4 patches, can I cut 9 patches?
Oh, yes, you can.
Why, yes, we can. Yes. Now, this one, Erica, I did press to one side, and I'm going to consider the blue the side that I pressed to.
Okay.
I did the exact same thing. I cut strips, I sewed them together.
But you did press this one,
I
right?
did.
So
now,
are you going to, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of you.
No, you're fine.
We
have to count that seam.
You have to count that seam. So your maximum would be folding it over once. You can only fan fold over once, because that's going to be where you folded, where you've pressed that over.
Yes.
That's going to be your 6 layers.
Yes. Okay. And I want to make sure that I count that. Okay, now here's the question everybody's all stressed about. What about this little tail? I'm using my Go Big today, so I'm not really worried about this tail. I'm going to kind of tuck it up into it.
Yes.
If you're using our Go fabric cutter, I'm going to tell you you want to subcut it so that that tail isn't hanging out. All right? Because the Go Big is 4 inches wider than the Go. We have a little wiggle room. Okay? All right. Such great strip dye magic happening here at the Dream Studio.
Okay, this is hysterical. Robin A. said she misplaced her 2.5-inch strip die when she moved her sewing room, and you would have thought it was the end of the world, but she finally found it.
Oh, hallelujah.
Having moved recently, I totally relate. I was like, where are my strip dies?
You lost pieces like your English paper piecing cube.
I'm still looking for things from my move, but of course I haven't opened all the boxes yet, so it's only been 5 months. It's not awful, right?
Well, you're getting there.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
All right, here we go. Now we have the top and the bottom, so you would put the opposites, so it would be a dark blue, a light blue, and a dark blue.
Right.
You're just going to make 2 sections of them and sew them together. And since you've pressed to one side, again, they're going to nest together.
They're going to nest. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so here's the question, Erica. Could you do like, so this is a 3x3 grid. Could you do a 4x4 grid?
Why, yes, you could.
Of course you could. Could you do a 5x5 grid?
You could.
You could. Okay? Just think in your quilting head, if I'm going to sew them together, can I cut them together?
Right.
Okay? All right. Now, before I show you this great trick I'm going to show you on our multi-strip die, I'm going to show you one of my favorite tricks. We have a pattern, Erica, what's it called, with the star?
The strip star.
The strip star.
The Go strip star.
There we go.
Strip star sampler, maybe?
Yes. Okay. In your quilting head, to make it, you cut diamonds, right? And then in your quilting head, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to cut diamonds, I'm going to sew those together.
Right.
Let me show you the easiest thing ever.
That's right.
All right, I have 4 strips, and I just press them one direction. Has nothing to do with Harry Styles, okay? Then I'm going to come right here. I bet it cuts 45 degrees, right?
Yes.
In there? Okay, so I'm going to come right here at 45 degrees. What you don't want to do, quilters, is try to fan fold back and forth. How come, Erica?
Oh, because they will not all be correct.
They will be backwards. Half of them will be backwards. Ask me how I know that.
Yeah, we've all been there.
If I were making that pattern, so here is 3 layers, you have to count that seam allowance. I would do 1 more strip just like this.
Right, right.
Right?
But you'd stack, that'd be kind of the stack and slide versus the fan fold.
Right, right, okay? All right.
Which I do a lot.
Which I do as well. I'm going to cut them at 60 because
Let's cut them at 60. I think 60 is a real standard diamond.
I think so too. So we're going to cut them here. We're going to put our mat on. Okay, we're not worried about this.
Not worried about it.
We're just gonna tuck it in there. Okay, okay, hey,
All right.
Justin, can we get a picture of this? Okay, see right here, this blue light? What does that blue light mean, Erica?
Don't panic. It means it's staticky. Turn it off. Turn it back on again. You're good to go.
Yes.
Sometimes it'll just get a little static in there. You know, the static builds up as the dye goes through the cutter.
Yes.
That's a perfectly natural thing. It just is how it works, so.
It is.
Nobody panic. So Norino says she's got 16 strip dyes.
Oh, Maureen, you're right there, right there.
Yep, yep. Lois C, did I tell you she's got 5, but she said it's not enough.
We would
You're absolutely right,
We
Lois.
would totally agree with that, Lois. Okay, give it some love. Slide, don't lift. All right.
Oh, Brittany wants to know about a bias binding demo. I don't think you're doing that today, are you? Oh, are you?
Yes.
Stay tuned. Hold
Stay
tight.
tuned.
We're getting there.
Hold, please.
Hold, please.
Okay. And now look at this.
Okay, this is pretty spectacular, quilters.
Right? And then you can just add the smaller diamonds to the side. This is the best trick.
Yeah.
This is one of our big, big tricks. Again, so just keep in mind, you can cut up to 5 colors, okay? And then turn them, but look at that. If you're gonna sew them together, can you cut them together? That's the question you should ask. All right. All right, we have one more, and then this one is using the multi-strip die, and we're gonna come right back and cut bias binding. Okay.
Okay, so quick,
Tell us.
I was ignoring some questions. I was so caught up with how many strip dies everybody had.
Okay.
Karen wants to know if there's going to be a strip die larger than 6.5 inches. Well,
I hope.
I don't know.
No, we don't have anything planned, but
you know,
Gibney,
we know people.
we know people.
Can put bugs in
What
ears.
size would you like it bigger?
She wants it wider so she can subcut for her other dies,
Oh.
which is clever.
Okay. I would love an 8.5 inch strip
An 8.5.
because then I could cut 8.5 inch squares with it.
Okay.
Okay. What else? What other questions?
Oh, what is a hula skirt?
You know what? We should cut one.
We should cut one. That's when it doesn't cut all the way. So if your fabric
Here.
shifts so that the fold is beyond the end of the blades, it's not going to cut all the way through that end. And that way you're
We're going to show you.
have little dangly hula
This is
skirts.
not pretty fabric,
That's
but
what
it'll
we
work.
call a hula
This is not pretty fabric, but it's going to work.
We'll show you.
We'll show you in just a minute. Okay, what other questions do we have?
They want to know the name of the quilt behind.
Oh, the
me,
quilt
and I have
behind you
to
is beautiful.
admit, I'm.
It's denim-y.
It is denim, and it is made out of denim.
I bet it's going to be so great in the winter.
Yes, it's heavy as all get out. It really is. It would be great for that. Let's see if it says.
Does anybody know? Is there a label on it?
I'm looking.
Brock knows. Strip pizzazz.
Pizzazz. Strip pizzazz.
Brock is not only
And-
summer Santa, but he knows quilts.
I'm thinking that that's the. Maybe the 2. I can't decide if that's the 2. I'm thinking maybe that's the 2-inch cut strip die that's used in that.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. I trust you.
Yeah. But check the pattern. It's free.
Oh, yeah, at AccuQuilt.com.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
This is great. This is our multi-strip die. It fits in our Go Me and all of our Go fabric cutters as well. It has it cuts a 1, a 1.5, and 2-inch strip. All right? Now, so many of you are gonna say to me, I just wanna cut the 1.5-inch strip. Can you do that, Erica? Why, yes.
Yes, you can.
You can. All right. So what I'm gonna do is, it's hard to see. Here are the 2 blades for the 1.5 inch strip. So here's one right here. I'm gonna line my fabric just past that blade. Oh, here, this is the only time you get to use a rotary cutter and a ruler. I'm just gonna take that selvage off.
Okay.
Hey, you can get these on our website. Okay. All right, here we go. Now I'm gonna just barely cover that blade. I'm gonna make sure that my fold is parallel
Yes.
to my lengthwise, or to my fold here, right?
Right.
Now, watch this, quilters. It is only going to cut where there is fabric and a mat.
It's a beautiful thing.
Now I'm gonna just lay my mat over the second blade.
Right.
I'm not worried about this.
No, it's not, the mat is hanging over the edge. We had somebody concerned about that, about it shimmying, because we tell them not to use a mat that's bigger.
Shimmy.
You are gonna wanna hang on to it.
Yes.
But it will work if you're careful.
It will. And if you're doing this method, it will not work in your Go Me because it's
That's
not wide enough.
correct.
But it'll work in your Go and your Go Big.
That's correct.
So you can do 6 layers, just like this. You ready?
Yep.
All right. We're gonna run it through, and I'm gonna hold it.
Now
We're gonna
here's the
show it.
question. Here's another question we've had from a couple of people.
Okay.
It's what happens if you try to use more than 6 layers?
Oh.
Let me take this one.
Yes, please.
Can I take this one?
Please.
Okay, so the Go Big, being electric, has a sensor in it. And if it senses that your die plus your fabric plus your mat is too thick, it's going to say, It's going to blink red and it's going to back your die out.
It is.
However, your Go Baby, or excuse me, your Go Me and your Go are manual cutters. So in fact, you can force more layers than you should through that cutter. And it might not be a problem today and it might not be a problem tomorrow, but it will become a problem over time. Or you could be like the first holiday I was here, Pam, I will never forget this.
Okay.
We had a woman come in, and this was like a woman maybe our age.
Yes.
And she came to the office. We used to be in the office then,
Yes.
looking for a die that we were out of. And she was trying desperately to find this die, and she almost had tears in her eyes because she'd been helping her mother cut quilts that she was making for Christmas. And her mother said, no more than 6 layers.
Yes.
And the daughter, a full-grown adult, thought if 6 is good, 12 is better.
Right.
And she bent the blades, which I didn't even think was possible.
Yes.
And she was in big time trouble with her mother because she had not followed directions.
Yes.
So I will never forget that. Only 6 layers.
Only 6 layers of cotton. And like if you're doing like denim,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you like 1
Yes.
of that,
yes.
2 of flannel.
And here's the clue with denim. If it includes the back pocket, that is not just 1 layer.
No,
That's
it is
a whole
so
bunch
thick.
of layers because of those welted pockets.
Right. Okay, look at this. That's how you cut a strip in the middle. If I was trying to just cut the short ones here, I would do the exact same thing. I would just lay my fabric where I wanted to cut and cut. Me and Erica, we're going to be here on Friday because we haven't seen each other enough this week. And
We never leave.
August 19th, 12 noon Central Time for a special show all about the Long Beach Quilt Show. Be sure and register on the events page for the chance to win prizes. It's going to be a great show. We're going to show you quilts from the show, and we have some great go-getters that we're talking to, and we met so many of our customers there, so it's going to be a great show. Be sure and register. We're giving stuff away, aren't we?
Oh, always.
Always. Speaking of consumer quilt shows, where would you like to see our AccuQuilt team go? What show would you like to see?
That's a great question.
Go to the event page on our website and tell us which show we should attend. And right now we have
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Grand Rapids,
right
Michigan.
now is having a big quilt show.
Our good friend Barbara Harper is there, and she is in our booth with, who are our retailers?
Is it Gall Sewing?
Yes, Gall Sewing.
Gall Sewing is there.
Listen, if you're in Grand Rapids or the surrounding area, go and say hi to Barbara. She'll show you all sorts of amazing things, and tell her we said hi.
Up close and personal.
Barbara's pretty amazing.
Yes, she is.
Oh, here, I'm going to show you the Hula Skirt, and then we're going to cut bias binding.
Oh, yes.
Okay. We get distracted, Eric and I.
We do when we start going. This is what happens. So you're going to do the hula skirt. Somebody else asked about how you avoid having a mountain or a dipsy doodle. And that's really all about having your fabric folded straight.
And lined up with that black line.
Lined up with the line.
Because if you run it through the cutter like this, then that creates that mountain in the middle.
If it's not folded straight or if it's not on the die properly, those are the two ways you're going to have a mountain.
Okay, so we're going to make some hula skirts. All right, here we go.
I feel like I should be singing something like...
I don't know. We should be doing something.
I don't know.
All right, notice that my fold is going past that black line. I'm going to line it up here with the edge of the die board. I'm going to put a mat on top. Run it through my cutter.
There you go.
It's what we need in life.
Sandra C. wants to know if the dies will cut canvas and leather. Why, by golly, they will.
My gosh, yes.
Yes, indeed.
One layer.
Yeah, just cut one layer, Sandra.
And yesterday we had on our show yesterday, we were trying to cut setting triangles, and I noticed that Joe got us a new mat today. Because yesterday it wasn't cutting cleanly.
It wasn't cutting very well.
If your fabric is not cutting cleanly, you need a new mat.
Yes.
The dies never need sharpening. The mats need to be replaced. All right, here we go. Slide, don't lift. And look at this.
This is our Aloha Hula
Ta-da. Here's Hula Skirts.
There you go. So if in fact one wanted to make a hula skirt, that would be how you would do it.
There is a die to do that.
For a Halloween costume, maybe? Just saying.
Oh, there you go. It is too cold in Nebraska for hula skirts and Halloween. All right, here we go. Okay, so
you put them over sweatpants here.
Oh, yes, this is true. All right, here's the question we hear. Can I cut bias binding with my strip dies? The answer is a resounding yes. All right, here's the trick. I have taken, we have so many fun things to show you today. This is 2.5-inch strip die. It will work with all of your strip dies. The width of the fabric changes, but for 2.5 and 2 1/4 inches, this is what I know, okay? I have cut 16 inches width of fabric. I have cut off my salvage edge, and I have pressed it so that there are no obvious seams. 16 inches is the magic number. I've tried it with 14, I've tried it with 18. Trust me on this. 16 inches width of fabric, okay? What you're gonna do is you're gonna open it up just like this. And the reason you want it to be pressed, if you have wrinkles in here, then your bias strips are gonna be wrinkled, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold this side down, okay? Oh, I'm gonna actually move some stuff here. Okay, fold this side down, and I'm gonna fold this side up. Look right here, this stretch, that is bias. Erica, what would you use bias binding for?
Bias binding, because it has that stretch, the number one reason would be around curved edges. So if you're doing a scalloped edge on your quilt, or if you're doing maybe you're doing a double wedding ring and you want to leave that scallop around it.
I used it on a tumbler quilt.
Yes,
right?
Tumbler quilt, I've done that too.
All right, so here we go, watch. We're gonna turn this very gently, okay? And we're gonna line this fold up with this blade here on the top, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this side up to meet the other side. Now, you're gonna notice that it's hanging over here a little bit more than it's hanging over here. So I'm just gonna scooch it down, okay? And then you're gonna fold it like it's an envelope. I'm gonna come right here and fold this in. And I'm gonna come right here and fold this in. Again, you're gonna notice I have lots more room on this side than I do the other side. I'm just gonna carefully scooch it down. I'm gonna tell you to practice this before you cut your good grunge.
Yes.
Or striped fabric, okay? Now, see how it looks just like an envelope? And you're gonna notice that the fabric stops before those blades end and the fabric stops before those blades end.
Yes.
All right, put a cutting mat on top. All right, Erica, while we're cutting bias binding, tell us how many dies people own and their favorite.
Goodness, and we did have a question back on the 2.5-inch strip die.
Yes.
For cutting for tumbling blocks, you're gonna wanna use that 45-degree angle, I think is the one I use for that.
No, I thought it was 60.
Is it 60?
It's 60.
It's 60, okay.
But yeah, isn't that a cool trick?
Yeah, yeah, it is, because you can do so much with those diamonds, you really can.
Here we go, give it some love. Slide, don't lift. And now look at this. Look at all the stretch. Bias binding for days, quilters. Okay, and it doesn't exceed the 6-layer roll. Now remember, some of the pieces are longer than others. You'll have to sew those together. Our biggest trick.
But
right.
really any method of cutting bias, you're gonna do that.
Yes, it's just how it works. Okay, so the question is, do I get more accurate cuts using the AccuQuilt system? Erica already told you, she has a hard time cutting strips and making sure she doesn't get that wobble in the end. So every time, if you lay your fabric correctly, that's how you're gonna avoid those dipsy doodles and those mountains and cut them perfectly.
Yep.
Don't forget, quilters, we relaunched the butterfly die. It's now part of our permanent collection. So we have bundles for you. The first bundle is the Go Butterfly Pieced 9-inch finished die with mat. This bundle is just what you need to get started cutting out and piecing lovely butterfly blocks. And we had some really great inspiration on yesterday's show, so if you didn't get a chance to watch yesterday's show, check it out. We also have the Go Block on Board Favorites 9-inch die bundle. If you want to mix and match 9-inch blocks, this is the bundle for you. You're going to get double reward points today when you place your orders. You can use these points towards future AccuQuilt purchases. Don't forget, today I'm giving away one of our Go multi-strip dies and that amazing book by Eleanor Burns. Be sure to register for the future events on our AccuQuilt event page for your chance to win. All right, now let's increase the magic and show you a few fun border ideas using our cubes and strip dies. And like I said, we're gonna use this great book called Go Outside the Box by Eleanor Burns, okay? And I'm gonna grab my dies, hold on one sec.
Oh, and we do not have written directions for cutting the bias binding. However, we do have this video will live on, as well as others. We have others that are just strictly about cutting the bias binding that are available on our YouTube channel, on our website, so they are definitely out there.
16 inches with the fabric, cut off the salvage edge.
And practice.
Practice. Don't cut your good grunge first. All right, the first border we have is called Geese in the Corner. We do love flying geese. Now this pattern calls for the 10-inch cube, but since the shapes are the same in every cube, today I'm gonna use the 8-inch cube, which works with the 2.5-inch strip die. We have tons of videos on how to use the cube system. You can check them out on YouTube and our website. They're really great and informative, all right? So, as you can see there in the corner, this is the block that I'm gonna make, and it's just right here in the corner. And I like this one, Erica, because it's not flying geese all the way up and down. It's just flying geese for a hot minute. Right? And I feel like you could just totally make that really fast, all right?
And you're going to want to size your border, whether it's a piece border like this or a strip border. You're going to want to size that based off of the size of your blocks. So if you've got little bitty, you know, 4-inch finish blocks in your quilt, you probably aren't going to put a 6.5-inch border on it.
No.
You're going to want it to relate back to that.
Right. Good point. All right. So I'm going to lay some of these pieces out so we can see it. All right. Now, we're going to talk. These are flying geese. Erica, are there flying geese in every cube?
Every single one.
And what shapes do you need?
That would be shape 4, which is the quarter square triangle, and shape 5, which is the small half square triangle.
Yes.
Those form the wings.
Yes. Okay. And this is actually one of my favorite shapes. This is called triangle in a square. And this is the triangle, or it's the square on point.
Yes.
Which is meant to live on its tippy toes, just like this. And
Right,
this
yes, it
is shape number 5, which is our workhorse. We see it everywhere.
Yes.
Okay. So the shape you need here in the corners for this particular block are shape number 2 from the 8-inch cube. Okay. So I am going to cut those. And again, I used my 8-inch cube because that matches the size strip that you need to make 2.5-inch squares. All right, so here is shape number 5, or shape number 2, sorry, squares. I'm just having such a good time.
She's just all the things today.
Just having all the good things, okay? And we'll cut 8 of them. All right. We're gonna use our cutting mat. Now, typically quilters, this is a really good tip. Typically when Erica and I are cutting fabric on a die, we subcut.
Yes.
Right? So you're gonna measure from here to here at 1/4 inch on either side. And then we're gonna have to, then you would just rough cut it. But this was actually some scraps I had. So I don't mind if today it's just hanging over the edge because it truly came from the scrap bin.
Right, right.
Okay? All right, but
Which is a
otherwise,
great point.
you don't want to have fabric just flopping around over there.
Right, we love our fabric and we want to save our fabric and we don't want to use more than we have to.
Right.
But if you're digging in your scrap bin, sometimes it changes a little bit.
Sometimes it changes, okay? So I'm gonna cut my squares. That was exhausting. Okay, here we go. Ta-da, ta-da. Now, I'm just gonna add these here in the border, okay? So I'm just gonna sew these together real quick. We won't finish sewing our block together, but I just wanna show you how you wanna press that.
Yes.
Because you want this corner to nest,
Oh, yes, you do.
right? Because otherwise,
Nesting is a beautiful thing.
it is. All right. I'm gonna put this here. All right, Erica, why sew?
All right, while you're sewing, we did have somebody was asking a question of which manual cutter will work with the most strips, and that's going to be your Go cutter. Your
Yes.
Go Baby or your Go Me. Why do I keep saying that? I'm having flashbacks. Your Go Me is going to work with 2 strip dies, the Go cutter or the Go Big cutter, if
Right.
you want to go big and go electric, are going to work with all 18.
Right. That's a great question, though.
That is a great question.
And here's the question: how should you store your strip dies, Erica?
Oh.
Nobody's asked that question, but we're gonna ask.
Just like your other dies, you want to store them on their end or on their long side like books on a shelf. And so here's true confessions. You can, if you use them and you stand them on their end, we've got this great rack that is actually technically for our studio dies, and I'm throwing this at the team. They'll find the link.
Oh
for
my
it, I'm
gosh!
sure.
Sorry, Morgan.
Sorry, Morgan. Sorry, everybody. That'll hold 5 dies up on their end. And that's what Pam and I both use, and that's what we use in the Dream Studio here. But here's the key. If you're like us and you have your dies then lined up on the floor in those racks, take your little Sharpie and write what size strip
Oh,
it is on
all
the
the
top.
time, because I
or
don't
the
want to
name
be.
of the dye so that you don't have to like lay on the floor to read the
I don't
label
want to
on
be.
the side.
Yeah, I don't want to be doing that.
No, I don't either. And I don't really want to admit how long it took me to figure out I could do that.
Ah, yes. Okay, now we're going to press towards the yellow, okay, here. But I want to show you this trick because this is a cool trick that Erica and I want to talk about. When you're trying to sew blocks together that have a point, you want the pointed block to be on the top. So as I stitch, then I can see right here where that point ends, and then I can make sure that I'm not sewing past that point. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll talk about this block. I think this is a great border. You know, it's the corners are fun, and flying geese for days. Okay, here we go.
Mary Lynn says she's got 7 strip dies, and Annette
7
has
is a good
8.
number.
Don't judge. Please, please, Annette. Some of us have more than that. It's okay.
Yes. Okay, now I can just press that.
I have to say, overall, the 2.5 is like a runaway favorite.
Oh, it should be.
And lots of people, oh, Cindy's got 13. Lots and lots of people love the 1.5 too, just like us.
Just because they should.
And lots of people only have the 2.5. So this is your inspiration then to branch out.
It is. It is. Find you some different strip dies that maybe you're looking at there. And I'm going to go a little slower there, make sure I get that 1/4 inch seam. Okay. So when I do this, Erica, I typically have a tendency to press towards the outside right here. Mm-hmm. Okay, which means, since I did that, we're going to press all of our seams towards the blue.
Ooh, hey, Katie just reminded me
Hi, Katie.
that
Our
Katie just reminded me that if your total order today comes to $225 or more, you're going to get free shipping within the contiguous U.S.
Oh, that's good to know.
And you're going to get double reward points for orders placed today. They extended that from yesterday on to today. I didn't even realize that. That's exciting.
It is. Sorry, I'm trying to do my thing.
Racks.
Okay, so see, I was right the first time.
Storage racks.
Press towards the yellow.
I distracted you. I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay. I was thinking about. Hi, Katie. Katie was on vacation last week.
Storage racks. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just.
But they found the link. They put it in chat.
Thank you to our
the
team.
Storage racks are great.
Okay. Okay, I am going to just sew this, and then I'll know which way it goes.
Just gonna sew.
Holy smokes, I tell ya. I get up here and I'm thinking and I'm talking and I'm thinking about strip dies and.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. You can totally talk. All right. And Erica, while we're doing this, hey, will you tell us people, don't forget all of our videos live in our social media pages.
Yes?
So you can go back and watch.
Yes.
Tell everybody about our blog.
Okay, so we have a great blog. Lori Miller wrote the one that came out yesterday, and it talked about designing a great quilt. We talk about all kinds of things. I write some of them, Melissa writes some of them, our go-getters write some of them, and they're tutorials on exclusive things that may not even live on a pattern.
Yes.
I was looking up one from last Christmas, actually. We had a great one for a tree skirt pattern.
Oh, yes, I remember
was looking
that.
up the other day because I need a new tree skirt. So
There you go.
be sure you subscribe. That way you're going to know whenever a new one comes out and you won't forget.
Okay.
Get behind in your reading.
Okay. Oh, I have 4 minutes, so I'm going to. All right, so look. See how it all comes together? I'm going to use my big iron and press it. Look at how fun that is. Okay. The last border is the ultimate magic trick, using our signature block from the companion corners. All right. I already have 2 of our little blocks. Ooh, we're going to press away.
While you're pressing, we had somebody ask, what size flying geese does the 10-inch cube make? So your flying geese will always be the same size as the rectangle in that same cube.
It will be.
So your rectangle in your 10-inch cube and the flying geese, they're going to finish at 2.5 by 5 because they're always going to be half as fat as they are long.
Okay, real quick. When I'm pressing this, half of them I'm going to press away towards those half square triangles. The other half I'm going to press towards the signature block so that, again, those pieces nest. All right, here's some of my elements. Look at this cute border, Erica. I love this one. This is
so cute. I
darling.
love the signature block. I forget how much I love that signature block.
Okay, let's cut some real quick. We have 2 mats. We can cut them both in one pass.
Oh, good.
I need half square triangles in black, and I need half square triangles in white. And I need some signature blocks.
I love this.
This is really cute. It reminds me of ladybugs.
Oh, yes, we were talking about making ladybugs the other day.
We were just the other day.
We quilters,
Our
quilting brains take us all over.
I know some of you find this hard to believe, but the reality is Eric and we do talk.
You do.
After the show.
Yes.
Okay, what happens if you try to use a die without a mat?
Oh, all together now, absolutely nothing.
Nothing. All right. All right, and Eleanor has some other really great border options in this book, so make sure you check it out. If you haven't already purchased the book, make sure you do. All right, what you want to do is all of the blocks are the same. All of the little units are the same. And you're just going to string them together. I'm going to press right here. There we go. All right, so let's sew a couple together. Oh, I wanted to show you this because sometimes quilters try to sew the half square triangles on this side.
Yes.
They go on the long side.
Go on the long
and look, we've cut off those dog ears. It's going to sew together just beautifully. So I'm going to sew these 2 together and do the other side, and we will be all ready to go.
Well, while you're doing that,
yes,
Joyce L. asked what she called a curious question.
Oh, yes.
She wanted to know, how many borders do you recommend on a quilt? Is there such a thing as too many?
Oh, you know, so that's a great question.
It really is a great question, and I'm going to say it really kind of depends because
it does.
Sometimes if you're making a quilt for your bed, you're going to want to put on wider borders than you normally would for maybe a wall hanging or a lap quilt because you're trying to add a little extra that you're really not going to see laying on top of the bed. I usually won't do more than 2, but that's just me. I get impatient.
I don't. Right, and I really think it depends on the block. For example,
it really does. It really does.
If I'm using Starry Path, which is one of our 9-inch finished blocks, that has so much movement and so many things going on that I just want a simple border.
Right, or no border.
Or no border.
Or just bind it.
Right.
You know, it's all about how you want it framed out, and sometimes quilters, I will admit to making a last-minute change in my mind on what I want to do, whether I want a border, whether I don't want a border, what fabric I want to be the border.
Right.
But a border, just like your binding, is going to be a frame. So you just want, you know, sometimes you have a picture on your wall that has a big chunky frame, and sometimes you just feel like it needs a little thin frame. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, look at our signature block. Look at how fun this is. I just think that this is just a fabulous border. Look at us. All right, join me and Erica on Tuesday, August 23rd at 12 noon Central Time. We're going to relaunch a die you voted to be part of our permanent collection. Register in the events page for a chance to win prizes. We are forever giving away prizes. Don't forget, we have bundles. The first bundle we have is the Go Butterfly Piece 9-inch finished die with the mat. This bundle is just what you need to get started cutting and piecing lovely butterfly blocks. We also have the Go Block on Board Favorites 9-inch bundle. If you want to mix and match 9-inch blocks, this is the bundle for you. And you're going to get double reward points when you place your orders today. You can use those points towards future AccuQuilt purchases. All right, Erica, we've made it to the hour. Will you announce our winner today?
Oh, yes. Wait, I must find that. Oh, and by the way, while I'm doing that, while I'm getting organized and leaving you all in the lurch here, don't forget those double reward points today.
Yes.
All right, I'm ready. I need a drum roll. Our winner is Isla C. from Carson City, Nevada.
Congratulations, Isla. You're going to love this die and our book.
Super fun.
Quilters, be sure to join us for next week's AccuQuilt Live. We're going to talk all about color palette. I have a photograph. We're going to choose colors from it, and I'm going to show you how to make blocks using my all-time favorite AccuQuilt die, the Go Morning Star die. It is going to be creative and inspiring. You want to make sure you join us. All right, huge shout out to our team today. So offsite we have Morgan and Katie, and who else is helping us with our Lauren might be helping us.
Lauren's helping out today.
There you go. Emily is out sick, so
Emily's out
the
sick.
lovely Erica is filling in for her today. In the Dream Studio, we have Brock and Joe and Justin, and I am Pam Heller reminding you at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more. Join Erica and I on Friday.